Hello and welcome, everybody. Thanks for joining us tonight. I can see we've got a healthy crowd there online already. Great to have you along. My name's Craig James, and I'm the president of Bayside Regional Association, and we have a cast of thousands tonight for tonight's presentation on international tennis academies. On the screen there, you can see the lovely Lynn Price, Secretary of Moorabbin and District's Junior Tennis Association, and next to her, I think Colin's there, the president, is he? There he is.
Yes, he's here.
You can see Colin there poking his head in. He's the president of Moorabbin and Districts. We also have Laura Pert there, who's been to IMG 5 times, we were just discussing, so she's going to have some wonderful insights for you. And sitting next to me is Savannah James, who some of you know. She's going to talk about the Spanish academies where we've had experience. We're going to look at other Spanish academies as well. So just before we get started, a few little disclaimers about this session. Firstly, these presenters are relating their personal experience at international tennis academies. So a lot of the stuff, they're going to give opinions. Now, Lynn and Colin are the representatives for IMG here in Victoria, so they can speak with knowledge and fact. As for, and Laura's been there, but for Savannah and I, we'll be giving our opinions, not necessarily facts. The other thing is there's hundreds and maybe even thousands of tennis academies around the world. So if we tried to discuss the merits, be it good and bad, of every one of them is beyond the scope of this presentation. So don't expect every tennis academy to be named, just the ones we know or have feedback from. If you want to know about a tennis academy, we have the chat function there. You can write notes in the chat function, and I can see a lot of you have said hello, Julian, Angelina, Joe. Thanks very much for joining us. Feel free to write any questions, and all our presenters are up for as many questions as you can ask. So this is an information webinar designed to give you insights and suggestions you may not have previously considered with regard to your tennis training. Now, one thing we should say before we start, you don't need to leave Melbourne necessarily to have a great academy experience. You get a great life experience overseas, but you don't have to. Just look at things like Discovery Tennis that's operating out of Kings Park, which is just local here, or tennis schools like Box Hill Secondary College, operated by Vida, Maribyrnong Secondary College, operated by the Maribyrnong Sports Academy in conjunction with Melbourne International School of Tennis, or even the XOR program with Lauren Breadmore out at Wesley. They operate an academy-style program with more intensive training than you're probably doing with your own coach. The other thing to be aware of is that Tennis Australia will be opening the new National Academy in Brisbane in early 2021. There's no details on that as yet, and whether that will be a commercial venture or a subsidised invitation-only venue. So that would be another option to consider if you're looking at ramping up your tennis training. And of course, you always have the option of doing more with your own local coach. Your local coach will probably give you as many sessions as you want, so that's always an option. And the bottom line with everything we discussed tonight is there's no guarantee recipe to make you a tennis star. Just because you've trained overseas doesn't mean it's going to necessarily make you a better player, but it does give you some great life experiences and broaden your horizons. So to get us started off, we're going to start with Lynn and Lauren from IMG. As we said, Lynn's the president of MDJTA and represents IMG here in Victoria, and Lauren's been there a number of times. So they operate the IMG Open, which I'm sure they're going to talk about, and more recently we've seen the Rafael Nadal Academy starting to adopt a similar tournament program. However, I'm sure Lynn won't complain if I say IMG was first.
No, I won't.
All right, over to you, Lynn and Lauren.
Okay, thank you. So we've got some slides that we're going to go through. Well, first of all, welcome. It's good of you all to join you. We're excited about this, and we hope you're going to enjoy the presentation. So I think we might start off with some slides here. Okay, can you see it, Craig? Okay.
There we are. I think we can see it now. It's up there now, or I can see it.
Okay. So we can, I'm not really that tech savvy, as you know, but I think have we got a video as well here?
We can play the videos if you want. Just tell me which one you want to play, and I'm happy to run it for you. Do you want me to start off with the welcome video or the
Yes, please. Yes, please, boss.
Okay, so we'll do the welcome video, and Lynn and Laura, you might want to mute your microphones just while this is on so we don't get an echo.
Sure.
You'll find no better environment to develop as a student athlete than IMG. Athletically, you will learn from coaches who have played and coached at the highest levels and know what it takes to succeed.
Oh, fitting that he should win it. Bradenton in Florida, where the IMG Academy is based.
IMG is more than a school. It becomes a home and a place that you remember forever for how it shaped you.
Right, back with you, Lynn and Laura now. Lynn, you're going to have to unmute yourself.
Done that. As you can see, there's a lot of courts there. There's something like 56 tennis courts. They have mainly hard court, quite a few green clay, huge gym. Kids do a fitness. Two gyms, not one. The kids do an hour of fitness every day. And if you think fitness has been tough here, you need to try their fitness program out. Laura, how good is it?
Yeah, their fitness program's great, and the staff that show you how to do everything, it's a really great experience.
And do you have to do things like run up the stairs at the track and field? Have you done that?
Yeah, the fitness is a little bit tricky, but it's really good. You know, it gets you challenging yourself. And yeah, because of the weather in Florida as well, makes it a little bit harder, which is great. So yeah, it's really great. They get using all the equipment in the gyms. They teach you how to use everything properly, make sure you're doing the right form. And yeah, you got to take advantage of those big steps as well.
Okay, so Laura, can you tell us about a day in the life at the Academy when you go over there as a camper?
Yeah, so you wake up, I think it's around 6 you wake up, or 7, depending on the program you get. The programs vary on your age, and yeah, so you get your program when you get there. So for me, I would start about at 7 in the morning, get breakfast. I used to do fitness in the morning, so I would do about an hour of fitness, and then we'd go to the courts for, this is off memory, I think it was like 2 to 3 hours, have lunch. And then maybe do another 3 hours in the afternoon of tennis. And then each day you also do an hour of nutrition, strategy, or like theory classes and mental toughness. So you do one of those every day as well on the weekdays. Yes, you're doing tennis, classroom session, and gym every day. And then, yeah, in the evening, you can do trips off campus to like Walmart. Or you can go to like the beach to have trips as well. And then you can just spend the rest of your evening on site, hang out with other campers, or yeah, just relaxing and stretching in your dorm room.
So Laura, you've been lucky enough over your period of your visits to have some private lessons with Nick Bollettieri, haven't you?
Yes, I have. I've had a few lessons with Nick. Yeah, really great experiences. He's so good at what he does, and he always is really passionate and helpful. And he's changed up my serve and my backhand volleys as well, which has been super helpful. So yeah, they were really great experiences.
Yeah, he's pretty good, isn't he?
Yeah, he's great.
Yeah.
Show another video.
So we got another video, Craig.
Yes, we have. We'll run the inspirational one now.
Yes.
Okay,
Craig.
so I'll start that up.
We rise every morning with the promise of today, waking our tired muscles, focusing our restless minds. The echoes of those before us ring across the courts.
Lynn and Laura, can you just
blow
mute your mic?
across these fields. This is our sanctuary, a place where legends are made, where we rise up to every challenge, learn from every fall, step out of our comfort zone. Because the only comfort we know is filled with sweat and the scent of victory. So today, like every other, we press on, pushing the limits, defining what it means to be competitive. We'll let you in on a little secret. We can never reach our potential. Then what? We're done? No. What may be our limit today will be surpassed tomorrow, again and again and again. And when our body needs rest, we service the mind, the engine that helps us outsmart, outplay, outlast. Innovation gives us that edge. Vision charts a course for our future. It's not about chasing dreams or some imaginary sense of control. The only control we really have is how hard we try to learn, to persevere, to win. True champions are as competitive in the classroom as they are on the field or court, and they'll pursue a worthy cause with as much heart as they leave in the arena, because they know service strengthens more than the spirit. When the difference between good and great comes down to a tenth of a second, unwavering focus, or endless endurance, well, that's what we're all about. That's why we rise every morning, knowing there are no limits to greatness. Limits are for speed signs, not leaders, not champions, not us. We are students. We are athletes. We are leaders. We are IMG.
Any questions at this stage?
Has anyone
All right,
any questions at this stage, Craig?
Not at the moment. Just remember, everybody, if you've got any questions, please put them in the chat for us. Or if you really want to talk to us, you can put your hand up and we might be able to even bring you up on air, but we'll see how high-tech we can get with that.
Okay. I might just talk a little bit about the Discovery Open tournament. I think many of you local players have played in that tournament. Usually we play it in April. We are applying for it again next year. Hopefully we'll have one in January again and one in April, as long as we don't get locked down again. And of course the winners from those tournaments and the runners-up and the semi-finalists have an opportunity to come with us on a trip to IMG and experience playing in the international tournament against players from all over the world. So they have teams coming from Japan, China, Mexico, Egypt, Italy, and others. And although it's an individual tournament, we work as a team and support each other through it. And it's just a fantastic experience, which Laura can tell you about that. She's played in our tournaments. She's won the right to go over to America. And I think, Laura, you enjoyed playing in the international tournament, didn't you?
Yeah, it was such a good experience because going there with the people from Australia, from that tournament here in Melbourne, going with them, it was really good because we all had each other and everyone was really supportive, and you had people to lean on throughout the tournament. And it was a really great experience because you get to see how people from the other countries play, which I found really interesting, and I feel like it was a really good learning experience as well. And it's really cool as well because you get to talk to other people from different countries about their tennis experiences, which is also really interesting.
Yeah. No, it is pretty good. So we haven't got any more videos, have we, Craig?
we have a tour of the IMG campus with one of the soccer coaches, so I can play that one for you right now. So just remember to mute your mics, and we'll play that one.
All right, well, let's do that.
First of all, welcome to IMG Academy. It's a tremendous place. It's a 500-acre facility. We're a fully accredited school, K through 12, and we have our 8 sports that are here primarily for the sports academy, which is what we're all about. Each player that's here in those sports are here to achieve the highest level that they can in whatever sport they've chosen. For me, it's soccer. We have 220 athletes, student athletes on campus. It's a turnkey facility that provides a tremendous development pathway for each player in their particular sport. Well, we're on what we call the East Campus of IMG Academy. And on the East Campus, we have our basketball programs, the girls and the boys. We have our tennis programs, for both genders, girls and boys. And we have our athletic and personal development program as well. So all that, along with all the administrative buildings in our school, is all on the east side of campus. And it's just a tremendous place to come if you really are determined to reach your highest potential in that particular sport. Every sport is assigned their own mental conditioning coach, their nutritionist, their strength and conditioning coach. Those staff also have several sports they deal with, but every sport has their particular person they can count on. Gatorade Institute of Sports Science, like there's 3 in the world, and we're fortunate to have one of those on campus here, where our kids have the ability to be tested and gather all the information that helps them determine areas that they can do better to perform at the highest potential. So now we're on the west side of campus, where we have our football program, our baseball program, our lacrosse program, track and field, and the soccer program for both the boys and the girls, which is state-of-the-art golf center at the Academy. All of this is housed on the west side of campus, along with our new school that's being completed, which should open up September 1st of 2015. It's second to none than what I've been involved in the scene in this country. We have the luxury of really hosting many different national teams across the world and professional teams across the world in the sport of soccer. And just to have our kids to be associated and be around that on a daily basis is just another additional educational piece that helps them develop. And it's a tremendous asset to our kids.
On campus at the moment, they have the National Women's Basketball League running out of the Academy. So all of those big ladies basketball teams are housed at the Academy in the dormitories, and they're doing all their training and playing all their matches there.
No, not all of them.
Well, a lot of them. That's a pretty big thing to get that many people, professional people, on site at one time. It's helpful to the basketball program for both boys and girls as well. So they get a lot of opportunity to see what these players do in their training and how they develop. So it's one of the good things. They have a lot of soccer tournaments there. They have a lot of lacrosse tournaments there, baseball tournaments there. Nearly all the sports have their own field and, I guess, what do you call it? Big clubhouse, their own areas that they go to. The sports are kept fairly centred, fairly central. The kids all mix with each other day and night. You could room with a soccer player, you could room with a golfer. You don't necessarily room with another player in your sport, which keeps things interesting. So it's a pretty cool place, and it's an absolutely fantastic experience. We've been taking players there for about 20 years now, and we love it every time we go, and we just hope the kids get the most out of their experience as well. So thank you for listening. If you've got any questions, feel free, and know you can make contact with us anytime. So Laura, is there anything else you want to add?
Not really. I think as a player, I think it's really important that people get to know the staff are really, really great. That was something that I was like, really, that's important for me. I really like working with really positive coaches and having really good staff members. Because when I first went, I was really young and I didn't have parents come with me. So I was by myself leaving the country. And the staff there are so amazing. They're so friendly. The coaches, the trainers, the chefs, even like everybody on site is so lovely. So I think that's just important for people to know. But yeah, that's sort of all I've got to say, I guess.
They have their own hospital on site too, don't they?
They do, which I've made a few visits to. And their trainers are really good. They've strapped me up a few times.
Yes. Yeah, lots of physios on call there as well for all the sports.
Did you attend school there, Laura?
Sorry?
Did you attend school over there? Have you
No,
gone?
I did remote learning from the school that I go to here. So I did that when I was over there.
No, she's only been a camper.
Yeah, I've only been a camper.
So tell me
what. I have a question from Julian. What's the duration of the camps? Can parents stay and kids stay together? And what's the coach to player ratio? So we've got a few questions there.
Okay.
So first of all, length of stay, and then can kids and parents go together?
Okay, parents and children don't stay together unless they want to board off site somewhere. Pardon me. Otherwise, the children board. That's part of the experience of going to the academy, is boarding there and learning to be a bit independent, you know, knowing when to get up of a morning. There's people to help you with all of that, and explaining where you've got to be at this time, being responsible for all your sporting things that you need to take with you, your tennis racket, your bag, your shoes, your hat, your sun cream, your water bottle, all of that.
It's a hotel on site. There
is a hotel on site that parents can stay in, or they can Airbnb or hire a place off site. Most parents don't stay around all day. They don't really want to. The kids are too busy. They haven't got time for mum and dad. Have they, Laura?
Yeah, well, when I go, I'm on court for, I think it's like 5 to 6 hours, and then an hour of physical training, and then an hour in classroom. And then by the end of the day, you're just smashed. And every time I go, I know that I spend the afternoon watching Netflix and doing schoolwork and just sleeping. So most of the time, people in the afternoons don't get real social. Yeah, so I've never had my parents come, and I went when I was really young, but yeah.
And what's the duration? How long can you go for? Is it a minimum of 1 week, or a minimum of day, or a maximum of, you know, whatever?
Over the years. Look, over the years, we've gone from 1 week, which is a waste of time because of the amount of travel you do to get there. Then we started taking them over for 2 weeks. Well, 2 weeks was good because it took a week to acclimatise, and then the second week the kids were starting to come good. So then we extended it to 3 weeks, and the third week the kids just went out of their mind. They really improved after 3 weeks. So we do have people go over for 1 week or 10 days or a couple of weeks, but they don't get as much out of it. That's because of the travel. It's a long way. It's 30 hours. By the time we leave, you leave home of a morning, go to the airport, get on the plane, get there late the same night. Takes 2 or 3 days to acclimatise. And look, we've always told the kids, you've got to be fitter, right? I don't care how much training you're doing at the moment. Before you go, up it. Go longer runs. Be fitter when you get there, and you'll get more out of it, because 2 or 3 days into it and they're still tired. So we've found over the years, we used to go from here to LA, go to Disneyland for a day and a half, and then fly across the other side. and we've tried going from here to Disney World. We did that a couple of years. We've been from here to Chicago, stayed overnight, and then flown down the next day. But it doesn't matter. It's still travelling.
Yeah.
The second day at Disneyland or Disney World, the kids didn't want to get up of a morning to go. They'd been for half a day, and the next day we allocated another day or 3/4 of a day, but they just wanted to sleep and rest. We've found 3 weeks as ideal.
Yeah. And Laura, question for you. When you're training, what was the player to coach ratio?
That's actually a really good question. So we would have a coach on every court. They have so many coaches. So we would have a coach on one court, and then on one court it would be anywhere between 2 to maybe 2 to 4. Yeah.
1 to 4.
Yeah, 1 to 4. So yeah, sometimes you're on a court with just the coach, and then other times you might be on the court with 4 people doing like doubles practice or something. But you almost never have more than 4 people on a court with one coach on every court. So yeah, you do get quite a lot of. It's quite like a good ratio.
We took over a couple of people last year, and they had one-on-ones for 3 weeks.
Yeah, I went in September for 3 weeks with you guys, and I remember. Do you remember that trip?
Yes.
Yeah, there was a lot of one-on-ones in that trip.
Yeah, it's good when that happens.
Yeah.
Depends on how many other campers are there, but generally there's no more than 4 on a court.
Yeah.
4 pupils.
All right. So what we can do is they can keep sending their questions through. So if a question pops up for IMG, we can do that. But we might move on and look at some of the Spanish options there. And last year, Savannah and myself went to a number of academies in Spain. Savannah trained at 2 of them. We also visited quite a few. So we're going to look at, first of all, where Spain is. And if you don't know your map of Europe, this big ball here is Spain. And then if you come across, I should have erased my whiteboard, and I'll put it back on. And then the places we're going to be looking at are Alicante, just about in here between Alicante and Valencia, Barcelona, and Mallorca. So that's although the capital of Spain is Madrid, here in the middle. So let's just clear that. So a few facts about Spain. It's a big country, 46.5 million people, not as big as, say, the United States. It's fairly mountainous. The national day is the 12th of October, and Spanish is the world's 2nd most spoken mother tongue, and it has 8,000 kilometres of beaches, so it's a very beachy sort of place. One of the reasons Spain has become so popular for training is that the annual rainfall is actually very low. So if you look there through those months, and particularly this bottom column, the number of days each month when it rains, 37 days of rain in total in Alicante, and you'll see it goes up a little bit for Palma, which is the capital of Mallorca, 51. But in July, 1 day of rain, 2 days, and when they say that, it's not all day rain like we would experience here. It's just maybe a shower, so it doesn't keep you off the court. So one of the real strengths of Spain is the quality of that weather. You know you're going to be on the court. You know you're not going to necessarily be locked up inside. So Mallorca is a small island. It's about 50 miles or 80 kilometres off Spain's coastline. There's 4 main islands, but the academies are all on the main island, which is Mallorca. And having 7 academies in a fairly small space is quite significant. And of course, the main one of these is the Rafael Nadal Academy. That's the one everybody knows. It's brand new. Tennis Australia have a relationship with that academy for Australian international players to train there and stay there. I think that's an invite-only sort of list. Got all the world's latest facilities. It's considered, the hottest I guess, academy outside of IMG. Everybody's doing Nadal, but remember, IMG's been around for a long time. Nadal's pretty recent. So just to give you some idea of costs of Nadal, now we said this is an opinion. Tennis academies, when it comes to pricing, things can be flexible. You can change, get special offers and that type of stuff. This is just across the board. If you went to Nadal for a year, it'd be €61,000, which is 91,200 Australian dollars. And for that money, you would get 17 hours tennis training a week, 6.1 hours of physical training, and you get to go to school there from September to June. You'd have all your meals and snacks and fun activities, medical checkups and physio, competition coaching, and a report on your player development and a welcome pack. If you don't want to go that long, $47,500 will get you in there for 5 months. There is no doubt that of the academies that I'm aware of, and I don't know IMG's prices, that Nadal is at the upper end of the price range. They are not all that expensive, but it's very expensive. And now this is where it gets a little bit controversial if we're giving advice to parents. The feedback we got from other players while we were traveling in Spain at the academies and from people whose job it was to represent academies is that the Nadal Academy, and I don't want to get into trouble with anybody here, but this is just my opinion, and what we were told is that they are more interested in filling up their hotel rooms. It is a hotel first and then the academy, and they do a good job. You can develop, you can train there, but don't expect to have Uncle Tony and Rafael Nadal on the court working with you. They might be visiting there, especially at this time, but they're not. What they're advertising and offering you is the chance to train under that model or that system that they've used. If you wanted to go there for a week, a weekly tennis camp, anywhere between $2,680 and $3,895 a week. Obviously, that's seasonal, depends on the season. Sometimes they'll have a discount if you pay in advance. Sometimes they might offer you a discount on a quiet week or if you book it short notice. You get a little bit more tennis training on a weekly camp, and that's because the schooling is not included. You're not going to school. So you spend 22 hours of tennis training, 6.25 hours fitness, and building champions activities. Not quite sure what they are. You still get the accommodation at the academy, breakfast, lunch and dinner, the medical attention, but they throw in a few things like the Rafael Nadal Museum experience, a few leisure activities. They play competition on a Saturday. Most academies do match play on Saturdays rather than actual training, and they will transfer you from Palma Airport as well. So that's just a little intro into Nadal. One of the things that is good, it's obviously new, it's flash. They have lots of programs. So if you go onto the Nadal website, it's like an a la carte menu of services like you would find in a restaurant. I want dinner or I want lunch. The family can stay. They have adult classes. You know, if the child wants to go off and do the tennis academy work, the family can go off and do a different tennis program if they want. They say they cater for a broad range of age groups. It's not just a child or a student athlete type of venue. Also, they, as I said before, they promote the Nadal method, and they do offer scholarships to promising players as well. But they do have a very broad range. And as you can see in the picture there, it's pretty flash. The hotel's nice, and I'm sure they offer a good service. Now, the other one in Mallorca, Guillermo Vilas. Some of the older people will remember Guillermo Vilas, the Argentinian star who won the Australian Open one year. He has an academy there. And also there's one, Jofre Porta. Now, I've put that in only to let people know that he has his academy there. And if you ask a lot of people, Jofre Porta is potentially the greatest junior coach in the world. That's just what a lot of people is. The academy is called Global Tennis Academy. But you have to be aware what you're getting yourself into. Jofre greets every new student. He lives on site. He has this room you can see in the picture there where they can sit up and he can watch everybody training. And his opening line to students is, "Welcome to hell." And he puts a grin on his face. And many students that go there find the training too grueling and the discipline too intense, and they move on to alternative academies. Now, Jofre doesn't apologise for that. Now, you may ask, well, what qualifications does he have? Nadal's got his own academy. Carlos Moya is Nadal's coach, and Joffrey Porter played a really big part in the development of both Nadal and Carlos Moya. He knows what he's doing. He knows what he's about. But he's had parents come up to him and ask for leniency on their children. And he says, you can't buy what I'm not selling. There's no favourites at Joffrey Porter's academy. It's tough and it's hard, and he will fire a player. He won't fire a player on standard. He will fire a player on effort. You've got to put in your effort there. There's some very high, well-ranked players there that have loafed through drills and they're gone. Now, a lot of academies would never fire a player for risk of losing the income and the revenue, but he will. And they'll also punish students at his academy, but he insists he's not punishing them. The students bring it on themselves by not putting in that effort. So I guess the first thing I'd say when you're looking for an academy to suit you, you've got to do your research. Look for recommendations online, watch videos. There's videos available about all the academies. You've got to find the right one for you. I would say it would be very unwise as just a consumer of academy services to book myself in for a year or 6 months at an academy. Do similar to what we did. Go for a week, try it out, try another one for a week, try another one for a week, until you find the one with the coaches that your child clicks with and that you're all comfortable with. It is no use signing up for something that you're not going to be comfortable with. As we said, there's hundreds, possibly thousands of academies around the world. Mouratoglou in France is a great academy with a lot of well-known players. You need to try them out to see what works for you, because when it comes to tennis academies, one size fits all isn't correct. They will all give you their system or their philosophy, and they all have a philosophy or system that they want you to buy in to. Once again, it's a matter of making sure you're comfortable with what that system is. And as I said, pick them based on the coach that your child is working with you. A brand name coach doesn't guarantee success. The best coaches probably aren't working necessarily in the brand name properties. So as I said, look on the internet and see what the reviews are. Let's have a look at moving on now. So let me just change the presentation over to Savannah's now. Yep, sorry, hang on, I've just got to be a bit technical here. All right, so we're going to, first of all, I'm going to show you one Sanchez Casals. Oh, Lynn's just popped in the chat there that IMG is similar pricing to Nadal. So I'm going to show you a video on Barcelona to start with. It is focused on the Sanchez Casal Academy. And then after we've watched the video, I'll talk to you a bit about what we thought of that when we went and had a look. Okay, I'm going to put myself on mute while this is running.
This is the city where tennis dreams are made. The most promising players in the world travel to Spain with high hopes of one day becoming elite players.
When you come here, you feel like you breathe tennis. Barcelona used to be, and probably still be, the greatest city to be if you want to become a good tennis player.
Alex Corretja became #2 in the world and twice reached the final of the French Open. He now trains with the next generation of Spanish players.
This is a city where you have so many players, so many good coaches, good doctors. You have places where you can practice on clay, where you can practice hard courts. The weather is usually very good. You can play outdoors all the time.
There are 7 major academies in operation in Barcelona. One of the best known is Sanchez Casal, built in 1998 by former doubles champions Emilio Sanchez and Sergio Casal.
So what we have here is all the club. We have 27 courts. 13 are on clay and the other 14 on hard court. Over there you can see the school, and it's a lot of different people. So we have around 35 different nationalities. The players can have everything on site, so they don't have to spend time going to the physiotherapist half an hour away, to the doctor the other way, to the fitness coach to the other gym.
The best known alumni of the Academy is two-time Grand Slam champion Andy Murray. He arrived in Barcelona when he was 15 years old.
I was finding it increasingly difficult to be the mum and the coach, and you know, tennis is very much a minority sport in Scotland. It wasn't like we were awash with staff and facilities and funds. It's very much about finding the right person or the right place, but you have to trust the people that you pass them on to.
We have clay courts. It's very important. Many countries they cannot play on clay. It's a place that you learn how to play. You become fit, you become tough, you become very competitive, and this is what the people see, that the Spanish are very competitive, and I would like my kid to also become competitive and have good footwork.
But a place at one of Barcelona's tennis academies comes with a price. Parents spend up to $4,500 a month for their child to train.
To become tennis player is very nice, but it's very difficult. It's very, maybe not even 1% of the people that are gonna come here, they're gonna make it.
If you come here, you know this is going to be painful. This is going to be hard. You know, people think, oh, tennis, it's a yellow ball. No, yellow ball, no. Not everybody can survive. A lot of players, they get exhausted mentally. It's not like you're going to do it in 1 year or 2 years, oh, you're ready. No, no. If you're not willing to pay the whole price to be a very good player, and then you better think about other things.
Okay, so as you can see, we went and had a look at Sanchez Casal. It was a beautiful venue, as you could see with some of the pictures there. The actual venue was very nice. We got some feedback from other players who had been to Sanchez Casal and had transferred there, and they thought it felt a bit like a tennis resort or a tennis holiday camp. They weren't saying it was bad, just their feeling was that it wasn't as... It was very good fun. It was enjoyable, but whether it was actually selling them the dream of making them better tennis players, that's why they had moved academies. So I'm just relating, as I said once again, not what we saw when we were there. It was certainly very busy. There was an ITF event going on at the time. The place was buzzing. You know, it was all happening there. There was lots of standards out there playing. Obviously, there was the ITF players training, but their normal academy stuff was going on. It is great because everything was there. The school and everything was very handy. So that was great. The two we actually trained at, or Savannah trained at, is Equilite, Juan Carlos Ferreira's tennis academy, and Bagheera Top Team by Luis Bagheera. So let's have a quick look at the video on Equilite.
The Juan Carlos Ferrero Equilite Sports Academy is one of the top tennis training facilities in Europe. During his playing days, it provided Juan Carlos the platform he needed to reach world #1 and win both the French Open and Davis Cup titles.
We started here when I was 15. Academy was nothing, just land and an old house, and we go step by step. You know, at the beginning we made 2 courts, and we rebuilt a little bit the building that we have, and then step by step during my career we start to make it bigger and bigger. To realize that at the end is one of the nicest maybe academies on the world, because it's a very close academy, very good. Familiar coaches taking care very much about the players, and it's nice to be here.
Located around 60 kilometers north of Alicante, the academy has been a regular practice venue for the likes of Alexander Zverev, Pablo Carreño Busta and David Ferrer. The academy's current prospect is 16-year-old Carlos Alcaraz.
Hi, I'm Carlos Alcaraz, and welcome to Equilite Juan Carlos Ferrero Academy. Here is Ferrero with his trophies, and now I will show you the rest of the academy. Follow me. That's the swimming pool of the academy. On the left there are more rooms, and around that garden there are more rooms. That's the dog of the academy, the Ferro's dog. Now I'm show you my room. That I stay when I stay in the academy. I sleep here. That's my room where I sleep, and I study for the school. Here is the rooms of the players, so where the players live. Now I show you the courts. Here is the clay courts, and behind is the hard court. So here is the gym that I train the physical part, and the warm-ups I do here.
Currently ranked a career high 314th in the world, the teenager will be one of around 80 players who will pass through the Academy's doors this year. And he'll be hoping to make the same impact as its namesake in the years to come.
So as you can see, it's a very nice looking academy. And now we'll just, if I can go to the right presentation, there we go. Juan Carlo Ferreira, Equa Elite. And let's bring that up on the screen. So Savannah's sitting here with me. Tell us a bit about these pictures here.
Okay, so the top left, so that was the reception area, and there was also like tennis stringing, and there was a clothing store. Bottom left was where we would go every day at 9:30 to check which courts would be on and when we were going to the gym. And then on the right was some of my friends and the coach that I had like every day.
And where was the coach you had from?
He was from Argentina.
Yeah, so, and there were some of the other kids that lived at the academy. One of them is Spanish, one of them is an English Romanian girl who actually lives in Madrid. And how'd you go when you played them?
Well, me and my friend played doubles against those two, and we managed to beat them. Like, it was very tight. It was like 21 to like 20 or something. And yeah, it was fun.
Oops. Oh, sorry about that. I just clicked the wrong button. I'll be back there. There we go. That's better. All right. And this is the accommodation where Carlos showed us. So you had the room here and you were able to stay with us.
Yeah. So at the courts, there was also a residential area where some kids stayed and also families and stuff could stay. And so that was our room on the left, number 12. Then on the top right, you could see that there's the pool, and I went there twice, and it was with my friends, and yeah, it was a good day. Yeah. And the bottom right was a picture of the dining area where the parents ate.
Yeah. So at Equa Elite, it operates a little bit differently. You're not getting a flash 5-star hotel by any means. They call it the rural hotel. It's operated by the academy. It's within the academy. And families are more than encouraged to stay. Now, if Savannah wanted to stay in with the players, she could, but we had a triple room, and we'll look at some of the pricing on that for families. There is no trouble with watching and being involved at a place like Equa Elite or even Bagheera. They're quite happy to have the families around. It is a separate dining area, so they operate a normal restaurant. All the tariffs there include breakfast, whether you're the adults or not. And yeah, so, and the kids eat in a separate area. So you don't have to be there. You can be. The rooms had washing machines and dryers, so it was good for laundry. It's a very short walk to the courts, like 2 or 3 minutes. And yeah, so it's great if you want to go as a family unit as well. Now, it's important now here, I shouldn't show myself in pictures. I don't photograph well, but I just thought I'd show you the environment. Equa Elite is way out there. As we said, it's about 50 or 60 kilometres from Alicante, and there is nothing around it. The one thing for parents you can feel safe in, that if your kids are at Equa Elite, they're not leaving Equa Elite because there is nowhere for them to go. It's like a big paddock. The nearest next establishment there's a roadhouse at the end of the road, which would take at least 20 minutes to walk from. So what I'm saying is here, you do need a car if you're going as a family to Equa Elite. There is a little village. This is the village of Valena. It's quite historic. There's reasonable sort of shopping there. There's another 15, 20 minutes and you'll come to a huge Carrefour supermarket that's got everything. So we walked up to this little fort here and had a look around. The village has got some nice restaurants in. We found children, they were taking Ubers, weren't they?
Yeah, so a lot of like the older children, like the 16-year-olds and stuff, they would take Ubers and like go places for dinner and like go out and yeah.
Yeah, but the food obviously at the Academy was all nice, and I think, Savannah, you loved some of the dishes you had at the Academy.
Yeah, so some of the things we had was paella, and it was the best like rice I had ever had. It was really good. And we sometimes had like for dinner we had like roast, we had like different meats, we had like salad, we had pasta, and the pasta was really disgusting though. And for breakfast I had, what did I have? I had like, I think I just had toast like jam. And then for lunch we would go back in and would have like pasta or something else that's protein. And then for morning and afternoon tea we'll just get a piece of fruit.
So they were giving the kids 5 meals a day. The school for the English and Spanish school is on site at Equa Elite, and you can sign up to that, and we'll show you something with the pricing there. But as I said, you do need a car there because it is pretty remote. Having said that, the best paella we had the whole time, and remember, we're located right between Valencia and Alicante. The home of the paella was the Roadhouse just down the road. So you can see here the paella just down the bottom corner there that Setsu and I had. That bottle of wine, and this is the wine everywhere in Spain is the same, it's €2 on the menu. Now you might think €2 a glass. No, the whole bottle is €2. Even at the restaurant at the Academy, the wine was still, I think, about €5 a bottle. And one of the great things about Spain, I guess, as a parent, is that they have these prefixed meal deals. So for either 12 or €15, you get 4-course meals with bread, a glass of wine, an entree, starter, and dessert. Normally you can choose whatever you want. So the food's really good. Now, you can see my wife Setsu there. That's the boardwalk at Alicante on the beachfront there. That's probably a 40-minute drive from the Academy. And then an hour away, you've got Valencia with some of the greatest architecture you'll ever see anywhere in the world. So as a location, it's pretty interesting. It's sort of in the middle of the desert. And I did say that the next closest thing to the Academy are 2 of the major correctional institutions in Spain. So the jails are based out somewhere near the Academy. You can see the lights at night, but they are a long way off.
Okay, so this was me just having a private lesson at the end of the day. So on your left, the orange was my coach, and in the white was my mental health trainer who I would talk to for 15 minutes every day. And so yeah, we were just having hit and like going through my serves and some of my shots.
And I think it's a bit like what Laura said about IMG. It depends how many kids are in the academy. Savannah's coach to player ratio, I think the highest was about 1 to 3. You had 3 kids and 1 coach.
That was only once though. So all the time it was just me and my friend, and then only once there was 3 people, and then most, like the older kids, the most I can remember was like 3 people on a court and then a coach.
Obviously, like IMG, it just depends how many players are there. We didn't book this as a private. It's just the way it turned out. We didn't book any privates. You can book privates at Ferreira if you want. Now, here's an interesting thing. You've got Juan Carlos Ferreira down in the corner. He actually lives at the resort. His house is there. He's there every day. I don't think he even knew Savannah existed. We would see him every day for breakfast. There would only be 4 people having breakfast every morning, he and Antonio Casal. And Antonio Casal was a nice guy. He'd talk to us. Juan Carlos Ferreira didn't want to know us. He didn't even smile or acknowledge us. And when he went out, he would play with, I guess, kids like that Carlos in the video, the better kids. He would actually play matches. They do have what's called PlaySight, and I'm sure IMG has also got PlaySight there, which is the video recording software. So if you go online, you can see Juan Carlos Ferreira playing the PlaySight matches, but he really did focus his attention on the older kids, and the younger kids of this age group didn't really get a look in with Juan Carlos Ferreira, and he wasn't interested in taking him for a private lesson. Talk a bit about the fitness training, Savannah.
Okay, so as you can see on the top, so for fitness in the morning, we'll do like a warm-up, and then so first thing we'll do is for 15 minutes, we'll just run around in circles in a 400-meter oval. And then during the day for fitness, so you'll do like fun like games and footwork drills and like really fun games. And so some of the games we played was like dodging games. So 2 people run from either end and you'll try to tag the other person. And the punishments were, if you lost, people would have to smack your head. And and also we had to roll on the ground to all the way to the other side and back, which wasn't that fun, but anyways. But I thought the fitness activities altogether was really good, and you're with the older kids, so like you would come up against the older kids, and yeah.
So that was one good thing. There was no class distinction at Ferreira, whether you were going to be the next #1 in the world or just a 12-year-old going to her first academy. You were all in it together, and the 18-year-old boys would be taking on the 12-year-old girls in these fun events. And I'm pretty sure, Savannah, you can correct me right, you really liked that part of Ferreira, the physical training. You found a lot of fun.
Yeah, I found the fitness really fun because I really liked the games that we played, and like all the kids were really nice there, and they were very like including for new people. And there was an Australian girl there from New South Wales, but she was like 18, so she was a little older. And yeah, it was pretty good.
She'd actually been there for 3 years already, and she was graduating this year. So, she'd done her time. And as you can see, there's the pool, the restaurant, and the gym there. So let's have a quick look at some of the pricing. We're running a bit over time now. I'm obviously talking too much. So if you were to go there on an annual basis for €3,730 a month, that's the annual program. Now, that's if you just do the schooling and stay in there and everything. If you just do it externally and stay outside, it comes down a bit cheaper. And then you have your annual school enrollment, which is cheaper. So the school's actually pretty economical for the year, €2,750, and it is on site. And then there's a list of things. We're retaping this, so the replay's there. If you want to see more about the dishes, because it's a proper restaurant, the 5 daily meals, they have different types of cuisine, so Oriental and international dishes.
Also, just for the average day, so I usually wake up at 8 o'clock and have breakfast with my parents at 8:15, but sometimes I woke up at 7:30 and had breakfast with the other kids at 7:45. And then so the kids who would stay and go to school went to school from 8 o'clock to 9:15, and then we'd start at 9:30, and then so we would have 2 1-hour sessions in the morning. So one was fitness and one was tennis. Then we'd have a break, and then we'd have 2 other sessions with gym and tennis again. Then we'd have a lunchtime where we had an hour break, and then we'll do the same thing after that with another 2 sessions. And then we'll have afternoon tea, and then we'd have another, or maybe we only had 1 session after that. And then at 5:15, the kids would leave to go to school, and they finished school at 8:30, and dinner started at 7 for the kids who didn't go to school.
Yeah. So yeah, they had because it was also operating as a restaurant, it was sort of convenient timing. You didn't have to wait round, whereas at some of the other academies, you have to wait round till the school kids come back. This is the program we did with the family. And as you can see, 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, but they also, so as a weekly thing, if you just go for 1 week, it's €1,260. But what we did, this was the under 12 junior competition program, exactly the same as the weekly program. But if you come down here to the weekly accommodation fee, let me circle. Oops, I went the wrong way on my slider here. Oops. I'm terrible at circling that. If the parents want to stay, you can stay at that rural hotel with breakfast. It's €1,895. So if it's just you on your own, it's $1,260. But it's not much else extra to add the parents, 1 or 2 parents, if you want to be there with the kids. So that's just an interesting option to be aware of, and that's what we ended up doing as well. So quick look at Bagheera and a quick video on Bagheera to introduce you to the academy. Here we go. See, so if let me just start that up. So if Nadal and IMG are flash, wonderful, beautiful places to train, Equa Elite is somewhere in between that. And I'll just go to the next slide.
Bagheera is very, it's
rustic.
Just, yeah, it's so basically in our rooms, because I stayed there for a week. So I was in a room with 2 other people, and all we had, so at Ferrero there was like a TV, there was a shelf above your bedroom, there was nice big closets, there was desks. In my room, all we had were 4 beds and 2 closets, and we just managed, and we just had to live on like iPads and iPhones that we had to cure our boredom.
So imagine a boxing gym and the boxing trainer, and you're working in the dirtiest, smelliest boxing gym. And you can see from the pictures here, the pool is really nice, but it closes it from September through until about May, so it's not open very long. And you can see the facilities are well used. The courts are quite nice. There's nothing wrong with that. The main attraction is Luis Bagheera, and you can see pictures of him there. And just as we said, Juan Carlos Ferreira, you never got anything to do with him yet. Laura was really lucky it had Nick Bollettieri, who is a doyen of the sport. Luis Bagheera is across everything. He is there. And in this picture here, you'll see him down the bottom corner working with Savannah. That's Savannah in the purple shirt hitting the forehand. Behind her is Jan, who is a full-time student from France who's at Moratoglu. The man in the red is the head coach of the whole academy, Ricardo Ross. And the gentleman feeding the ball is Garbine Muguruza's brother. So it's a pretty strong threesome to have focusing on how you play and your footwork. As I said, they all have methodologies. They all have systems. Bagheera is very different. Adults can't stay there. It's only children staying in the accommodation there. They'll arrange accommodation for you outside of the academy if the parents want to be around. But you're welcome to go there every day. You can use the restaurant to eat and that type of thing. The kids eat in the same restaurant. There's no issue with that. It's just that people over 18 can't stay at the academy, and it's primarily an academy that doesn't have adult programs. It's junior programs. They do very few private lessons, although Jan and Gabi Muguruza's brother had private lessons. But Luis Bagheera's philosophy is if you can't do it in a group, you can't do it anywhere. So they don't push the whole private thing. It's very egalitarian. Once again, you'll be put in a room with anybody. I think you're in a room with a girl who's, 350 in the world?
Yeah, so I was put in with a girl who, came runners up in, the European
Junior Masters. And she was 16. She was, really good. And then the other girl in my room, she travelled to tournaments, but I don't think she was as good as the other girl in my room. Yeah, so they certainly mix them up. And Luis Bagheera has obviously had quite a few success stories. Garbine Muguruza is connected with the academy. Sarah Irani is based at that academy. And obviously his own son, he coached his own son to 2 French Opens, Sergi Bagheera, who also coaches there. He wasn't there the week we were there, but he also coaches there. Here is the pool, and here is some fitness training going on. Savannah, tell me about the picture with Mum and what's going on here with this mountain.
Okay, so you can see, so there's a little white dot at the very tip of the mountain. So there is a flag up there where once a week kids run all the way to the top, and it is very huge. It's so huge, it's the biggest thing I've ever seen. And so unfortunately I didn't get to go when I was there, but I got to go not even a quarter up the mountain, and you have to though go on hands and knees for sometimes because it's very steep there. But there's also a path as well that you can run along, and we did intense running, sprinting, and then jogging back a number of times. And then we went up, and then we came back down. But there are really good houses, but just everywhere you go near Bagheera, it's on a hill. So yes, be prepared.
Yeah, so what was one of the other ones you did? You did the 50 exercises. What was that called?
Oh yeah, so in the gym we did something called the Walking Dead, where we're all supposed to be dead after it, and it was 50 exercises in a row. And so me and my friend, obviously weren't the strongest people there, so we were sort of just going our own pace. But obviously the older boys, they were trying to show off and look so strong, and they had a competition who could do the most chin-ups and stuff, and they were all cheering each other on, which I thought was a bit weird. And the gym also smelled like sweat, and yeah, it was disgusting.
Yeah. So so it is tough, and I think Savannah makes a good point. You'll see this picture in the bottom of me struggling with Savannah's suitcase down the hill. We stayed in the little village at the bottom of the hill. It's in the suburbs of Barcelona. Bagheera is about 18 kilometres out of town. We stayed in a little village just down the bottom of the hill. It was probably a 20-minute walk up to the academy every morning. If the ground was flat, it probably would have been 10 minutes, but it was really steep and it's hard work. And even getting to the railway station, which is probably 30 minutes walk from the academy, you had to walk down another hill, which of course meant you had to walk back up to our apartment was actually in the village, but very hilly part of town. And that weekly run up to the mountain is sort of a symbolic thing of the Bagheera Academy. And anybody who knows about Bagheera knows about the weekly run up to the top of the hill.
Yeah. So this is on the left. This is me and my friend that I made, and would be in the same group all the time. And then on the right hand side was me and my coach, who I had as well all the time. And in the middle is just, you can see all the houses on top of each other, and it's very bushy up there. There's lots of trees and stuff. An average day at the camp would be, so some people would wake up 7:45. My room would wake up at 8:15. We would do our daily routine, go to breakfast, come back, put sunscreen, insect repellent, whatever else you need to do, and and then get out on court and do a warm up at 8:45 with the gym instructors, which was fun. And then after that, we'd break up. So it's sort of the same as Equa Elite. We would do 1 hour of tennis training, and then 1 hour of in the gym, and then after that would have morning tea, which I just brought out a piece of fruit. Then we'll do the same thing, and then we would have lunch, which was an hour break, and then same thing, and then we had another break, and then one more, like either tennis or gym, and then the kids who had to go to school left at 5, and everyone else finished at 5:15. And so basically school there, they had Spanish school on site, but if you're like American, like one of the girls in my room, you had to actually take the bus to American school, and so it would take quite a long time to get there. And then after gym we would have showers, and then kids go to school, and then we would have like supper before they go to school, and then dinner was at 8, just like before everyone was coming back, and then 8:30 most people came back.
Yeah, it is traditional in Spain. They do eat late. So even if you're an adult and you want to go to a restaurant, don't, unless it's the Roadhouse at the end of the street that's open 24/7. Restaurants open about 8 o'clock. They don't open early. A lot of hand-fed drills at Bagheera because it's all about the footwork. They do take the kids down to the beach. One thing that was really impressive at both Equa Elite and Bagheera is the coaches do meet every day before every session so that they can find out what their charge is, what the program is for that today. I was impressed at both academies that they did keep control of it. That is Gavin Muguruza's brother had feeding Savannah there in that drill. So there are a lot of hand-fed drills. That's a very Spanish thing. So quickly looking at prices, residential based on a weekly basis. Scarlett, the other girl in the picture with Savannah, she did this first Camp A program. So her and her mum used to live outside the academy, come every day. 60 euros would get you lunch every day. So it came to 885 euros for the week. Camp B1, which was everything, including the residency, 1250 a week. That's what Savannah did. And then if you go over 8 weeks, it comes down a little bit more there. This is what it includes: is 16 hours of tennis, 15 hours of fitness, and you can do Spanish or English tutorials of any subject there as a separate thing. So I'd recommend that next time Savannah goes back, she'll be doing Spanish, just because when tennis finishes at 5:15, dinner's not till 8. There's a lot of downtime. So to keep her occupied, she's going to start learning Spanish as well.
Because only 5 people, only 3 girls anyways, didn't go to school because they either graduated or only there for a short time. But all the girls in my room went, so I'd literally be my screen time would go up 7 hours every day, just watching TikToks and playing games all day, which wasn't probably great for my brain, but I had nothing else to do. And also the coaches are super tough, especially gym coaches. And one of the gym coaches, because most of us are very a lot older, he does like to swear at us and say that we're not trying hard enough all the time, and so just be ready for that.
And that sort of brings us to the end of our program. So we've got some questions in the chat. Laura and Lynn, thank you for staying there. What security is there on site for players? Yes, both. Obviously, both of them had 24/7. So, Annie, you want to talk about that?
Okay, so at Bagheera, at about 9:30, 10 o'clock, when I was just about to go to sleep, a girl would just knock on the door and come in and just make sure, at least I was there. And if the other girls were, outside, she'd just go hunt them down. And everyone had to be in their rooms by 11:30. So, yeah.
Yeah, and Equa Elite also had people permanently on site. Because of its remoteless, the kids couldn't duck out. There was nowhere for them to go. Are there any other questions? Type them into the chat.
So what about the children? What about the players going off site, Craig?
Yeah, they had an age limit for it. I think you had to be 16, didn't you?
Yeah, you had to be 15 or 16. So I couldn't just wander out of Bagheera. So one of the girls in my room, she used to go out every day with some of her friends just to go to the cheap convenience store. And at Equa Elite, they could take Ubers and stuff and go wherever they wanted to.
But obviously they only had time to do
I was just about to say this is probably some pretty important information, especially if there's people that want to go and don't want parents to come. So with IMG, you can go off-site. I don't know, is there an age on that, Lynn?
If the parents are there,
Yeah,
the parents can
or
take
if the
you
parents are
off-site.
there,
So
you
you've
can
got to
off-site
sign you
with them.
out.
But if you're there by yourself,
Yeah.
Yeah, you can't go
You
out
cannot
off-site
get out the gate.
at all unless it's on a trip, which has to be through IMG. IMG drive you there. You're not allowed to take an Uber or a taxi or anything like that, or any public transport. So IMG will take you there and supervise all that. Yeah.
Yeah. So if when we go over, if for example, if we want to take Laura out, previously we had to get a letter from her parents to say we could do it. Now Laura actually has to send an email to her parents, and they have to email the academy back to say that we have permission to take her off site. And then we have to fill in the form and have her back by a certain time. So it's pretty full on over there as far as security goes. The kids are just so safe.
So especially at the moment with COVID, they've got their their system in place, so they're all safe on site. You can't get into the site unless you've got permission, and you probably have come from somewhere that's COVID free. I'm not sure what's going on there at the moment, but we'll chase that up next year when we think we're allowed
It'll be
out of the
interesting to
country.
see what happens there. I know out of all what we've found out and that type of thing, we've rebooked for March, April to go back to Bagheera for 3 weeks. So there's a plug. If anybody would like to join Savannah, I'm sure she'd love to have some company at Bagheera. Laura, are you heading back to IMG anytime soon?
Yeah, I'm trying to go there for January next year to board there. So that's exciting. I've got a friend there at the moment. She flew out, I think like Saturday. Yeah, just recently she flew out. So she's boarding there at the moment. So I'm trying to join her in January.
Great. So I'm sure you'd like to have some friends.
So Laura will finish her schooling over there and then go on to college.
All right. Well, thank you very much. I really appreciate your help, Lynn and Colin, and Laura. Thanks for joining us. I think we gave some really good information tonight, and it was interesting that we started with 8 and we've finished with 8. So nobody's given up on us. That's great. As we said, this information will be recorded. You know how to contact me, Savannah, Lynn. You can contact any of us and we can give you some more insight. If you want to go to IMG, Lynn and Colin would love to sort you out. Thank you so much for tonight, and we'll see you at 1 o'clock tomorrow for fitness. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye. Bye, Savannah. Bye, Laura. I'll talk to you.
Bye.